Plaintiff Dominique Belcher met the defendant on a dating app, and although Dominique only wanted to be friends, he claims the defendant showered him with gifts in an attempt to get him in bed. Dominique claims he and the defendant became roommates, and he's suing him today for rent and emotional distress. Defendant Michael Butler says he never would have moved in with Dominique had he known Dominique was a prostitute. Michael claims Dominique assaulted him, and he was forced to file a restraining order against him. Michael's countersuing him for unreturned property.
Start with you.
Well, I met Michael in January of 2017 off a gay dating app. Anyways, we became friends. We started hanging out, and soon after us starting to hang out, I found out that Michael was nothing more but a party animal and a raging alcoholic that would just sleep with any and everybody. He kept on trying to sleep with me, promised me gifts, bought me gifts, out to eat, trying to take me on dates or whatever and stuff too.
When did you first find out or determine he was interested in you? You didn't know that by the first few days of communicating with him?
He just kept on trying. I told Michael that this wasn't that type of party, that we should just be friends. And me being the type of person that I am, I still befriended Michael.
And he kept working on you?
Yes, he just kept on trying to.
It's time to say, since you won't listen, then go on.
Just because I thought Michael was a genuine person, but Michael was not a genuine person. Michael was nothing more but drama.
All right.
He got mad that I wouldn't sleep with him. And when May 16th, I told him that my sister was coming to stay, and he had to find somewhere else to go. He kept on saying that he would pay.
Oh, he had moved in with you by that time.
He started staying with me in February because he was getting put out. He didn't have nowhere to go. He claimed he had nowhere to go. That's what he told me. He didn't have nowhere to go. He needed help moving out. So I moved Michael in. Michael paid February and March. We had a verbal agreement that Michael would pay $200 a month.
Did he work and was he productive?
At the beginning, he did have a little job, but I don't know what happened with his job.
You say you rejected him. Why? He's a handsome guy. What's wrong? Why didn't you like him?
Because at the time we had this was a business agreement, and I don't mix business with pleasure.
Before it became business, you met him on the internet and he started hitting on you. Wasn't no business then.
No.
Yeah.
No. We were talking on the app, and he was telling me that my ex-boyfriend was running around with his boyfriend. This is why we became friends. We were friends. His ex-boyfriend was with my boyfriend at the time. They're still together.
Now, how long after that did he hit on you? How many days after meeting him?
Like a month and a half.
Oh, it took me a month and a half to hit on you.
Like a month and a half.
All right, so now I understand better. I thought it was like, you all met, he began hitting on you right away, and then not only did you reject him and not say anything, you moved him in. That's why I was saying that's not making sense.
That's not what happened.
Okay, so he waited 6 weeks before he made his move.
Right.
Well, he's slow mover. Sorry? Take you that long? You're gonna be lonely forever. If it take you 6 weeks to make a move, somebody been swooped up everybody you want within 6 weeks. Go ahead.
Your Honor, like you said, I had lost my job. I was working at the Oakland County Prison. I lost my job, crashed my car, was losing my apartment, had nowhere to go. He allowed me to come stay there. Was going to get on my feet. He showed me to a staffing agency that was going to provide me with some employment. I secured some employment, and I began to show my graces upon that. But
I know you did. You tried to show your graces.
Yes, I did.
But I was just trying to show you his grace.
Michael is nothing nice. He's not a nice guy.
So you did all this for him, and by the 6 weeks, he decided to show you his graces. Go ahead, sir.
I would have never moved in with him had I known what would have been happening was happening. He was a prostitute. He was sleeping with people for money. We lived in a studio that was all of 500 square feet. I had a twin-size bed on one side. He had a king-size bed and a TV stand that was separating our spaces. I would have to go stand outside or be in the closet. Frankly, I'm not in the closet. The closet's too big for me.
You're not in the closet
No,
anymore?
not at all. I am perfectly comfortable and capable of being who I am. I know who I am and what my struggles are. But it was a problem with the prostitution part. We were different in character. We were different in morality. None of my friends wanted to be around him. I couldn't take him places.
He didn't even have any
where there was alcohol, and that to some degree is true. I don't have a lot of friends, but I do know a lot of people from my community, things that I do in the community. And
why don't you have many friends?
Drama.
Say that again, Tracy.
Pardon me?
Say that again.
Why don't you have many friends?
I mean, I'm not a person that needs to have a lot of friends.
He says because you're a drama king or queen or however he wants to put it. He said you're drama.
I'm a king, but no drama.
That's what I said. However you want to put it. Go ahead.
I know a lot of people. I have a lot of acquaintances, but when it comes to friends, I don't have a lot of friends.
Okay.
And
he's a very intelligent and cultivated and educated man. The way he presents himself, very well presented. Why'd you reject him?
Because Michael's nothing but drama. He caused me a whole bunch of emotional distress, a whole bunch of stuff. He flattened my tire, put this false PPR on me. Everything in the PPR is a lie.
You have a protection order he put? You had
he did.
place a protection order on
on top of him putting this protection order against me, he kept on coming to the house. He kept on coming to the house to try to antagonize me to do something to him where he can take possession of my house.
All right.
Your Honor, I explained when things went south, I explained to Mr. Belcher that if he did want to evict me, that there was a proper process that the state of Michigan required.
All right, let's talk about the rent you're suing him for. How does he owe you for that?
We had a verbal agreement of $200. He paid February, March. He didn't pay April, May, or June.
Sir?
We had no agreement to pay rent. When I came there, I had no job, no way of finding out how I was going to provide for myself.
You said you paid February and March.
I had money from my income tax.
Okay. I still haven't heard how things became confrontational.
Because he wouldn't give me my keys back.
When was that?
I want to say in May. I told him that my sister was coming to stay and that he would have to find somewhere else to go. Michael felt like that one of my friends had told me to put him out and he wasn't going anywhere.
How much notice did you give him?
I gave him plenty of time, a month.
All right, and your counterclaim for unreturned property is what?
For my belongings, my bed, all my clothing, shoes. I had shoes and clothing that were there that I brought with me from my apartment. I put all of my furniture and things in storage and brought my clothes, the cable boxes.
You have a list?
Yes, I do.
You have his things?
No, I do not. The police, when he came on the 22nd with the police and they served me the PPO, the police told him to take all his things. Michael refused to take his things, and I was told after 30 days to throw the stuff out. So 30 days came.
I was not allowed.
And I took it to the curb.
You were never allowed in?
Every time I entered the place, it was confrontation. After I filed the PPO on the 16th, I did not return to the location.
That's a lie. I have a witness.
What did you do with his things?
I took it to the curb on August 1st because I'm in the studio. I took it out of there.
All right. Your witness want to speak? Come on up. State your name.
What
do you want to tell me?
I was there when he returned, which was a day,
The 22nd.
Yeah, on the 22nd, which he came and it caused a confrontation, which he threw a glass at his face, so the police was calling. After that, he was still returning and still harassing my brother.
All right, sir. Any of this true?
No, Your Honor, I have documentation here as listed in the PPO on 5/20. He hit me in the face in front of this young lady as well as his other sister on 6/15/2017. I was hit with a power strip that was on the wall. He was choking me. I have pictures.
Did you file criminal charges?
I used this. If the police did come to the scene, but I was not able to get charges. But I used this information to provide the pictures.
I got that, but you could also use that same information to file charges against him for assault.
Yes, sir.
And so you didn't do that.
No, I did not.
He notified you to come get your things and you failed?
No, he did not.
Did you ever go there to go and attempt to get him and he stopped you or you all argued?
There was confrontation. It was confrontation.
The police on the 22nd, the police told him to take all his stuff because he will be violating his PPO if he came back. Michael refused to take his things. So 30 days went by and on August 1st,
You refused to take them?
Yes.
No.
He refused to take his things.
I was not allowed to take my things.
He refused to take his things. I told him to take his stuff. He said, I live here. You said you live here.
That's my hat that he's wearing that I purchased from Genesis.
This his hat?
That's my hat.
This his hat?
Huh?
Is this his hat?
No, it's not.
That's my hat.
No, it's not.
Whose hat is it?
Mine.
Why you looking at me? Mine.
Mine.
I ain't
because
done
who does
nothing to
that?
you.
That's crazy. That's mine.
You all make it very difficult on me, and the problem is you all have the burden to prove.
I got my evidence of the lies that he went and lied on me, and he tried to take possession of my house.
Well, what I do know is that he made reference to landlord-tenant court.
And
hold on. So that suggests that you had an agreement of some sort with him.
Right.
Otherwise, the courts don't get involved. So I believe he owes you for the rent. $600 is your judgment for the rent. I'm not convinced one way or the other whether you went to get your property, and it's your burden to prove it, and you didn't. And I'll grant you your $600. Nothing for this mess y'all go through, all right?
Thank you. I
Have a
appreciate
good day. Your $600.
I feel like justice was served, you know? About time. Thank you.
I have nothing to say.
Plaintiff Deja Mack Fletcher says she and the defendant met in 6th grade and were best friends. Deja claims after they became roommates, the defendant changed, and she's suing because the defendant failed to pay 6 months of rent. Defendant Simone Ellison Neal says she started having problems with Deja after Simone had her best friend stay with them. Simone claims Deja was jealous of her best friend, and as a result, she threatened Simone. So Simone moved out.
Start with you.
Me and Simone have been best friends since the 6th grade. We did everything together. She was like my partner in crime. Then she moved in with me in January 2017, and
You were already there?
Yes.
Okay.
And she turned to a totally different person when she started having her coworkers started coming around, and her other best friends started coming around more.
What's wrong with that?
I would come home from work. It was kids running everywhere, loud music, and just total chaos.
Okay. Did you ever mention it to her?
Yes.
Okay. And it didn't stop?
No.
Okay.
And it even went to the point where her friend broke into my room and busted my door open because she said that my cousin stole some of her popcorn. And I have pictures and text messages from.
All right. And did your defendant acknowledge it?
No.
Let me hear from you.
Me and Deja, we met in 6th grade. We were best friends, and I moved in with her January of 2017, yes. But when I moved in, she did turn into a different person. She started to monitor who I had over and how long I had them over, or she would tell me what time they had to leave and how long they could stay. And I couldn't do that.
And you say they, meaning at different times or at the same time you'd have several people over?
There were different times, and then there were also same times as well.
That you had several people over?
Yeah.
And did she ever mention anything to you?
She never said anything, and then my best friend...
She said something to you in April. You don't remember that, or she didn't?
No, I don't remember that.
And your friend's what?
My best friend, she does have a daughter, but there weren't multiple kids there. And not only that, she had family as well over there. She had her siblings over there all day, every day, and they would be running around. And it would be okay when she did stuff, but whenever I did it, it was a problem.
When did you first hear a complaint from her, if at all?
She never really complained to me.
This is the first time you've heard these complaints?
Yeah, like anytime
Today
she had
is
a
the
problem,
first
she would
time.
she would never say anything to me.
Got it. All right. I don't believe today is the first time she complained to you, so you hurt yourself with that. What do you say to that?
Well,
she made arrangements to pay consistently and to be a resident there.
Yeah, but she didn't come and talk to me about that. Though,
I understand,
so I didn't
but she
know.
talked to her, and now you do know. She intended to be a resident,
I'm like
you say you had no idea of. Judgment for the plaintiff, she was intending to be a resident. She's perjured herself. I believe she knew all along that her girlfriend was there. You got even the dates wrong. You said she was there 2 days. She was there nearly 3 weeks, and then stated her intention to be a permanent tenant there, something in which you said she declined, refused, had no intention of doing. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
No, as long as I got this resolved, I'm fine with not even talking to her ever again. So I'm fine with everything.
She says that now until she'll be texting me over something else petty.
That'll never happen.
And I bet you it will, because you already did it before.
See.
Okay.
Plaintiffs Jessica Castillo and her husband Chris were friends with the defendant, and they claim he is not only a party animal who is obsessed with the gym, but he thinks all the ladies want him. Jessica says they rented a house with the defendant, and he moved out without notice, so they're suing. Defendant Josh Resendez claims the plaintiffs act like two 70-year-olds. because they don't know how to have fun. Josh says he's 24 years old and often likes to go out, but the plaintiffs are constantly lecturing him about his behavior. Josh denies owing for rent because he claims he moved out.
Start with you all.
Well, Josh is a party animal. He loves to drink, and he's also like obsessed with the gym. He thinks he's the Rock at times, so.
He thinks he's the Rock.
He does think he's the Rock.
The actor.
And sometimes I get tired of trying to smell what he's cooking. It's not worth it.
I could do the eyebrow. I'll give her the eyebrow.
That's about it, huh?
Yeah, she would cook.
He thinks all the girls want him.
Yeah, he thinks all the girls want him. So I'll give you a perfect example. One time we went to Mexico.
Well, you want to give it a test? All the ladies that want the defendant, raise your hands.
No love. No love.
So he doesn't believe that anymore, I promise. Go ahead.
Okay, so one time we went to Mexico, and he somehow talked a girl into going skinny dippy with him. He met a random girl out there, and they did. Me and my husband were not gonna do that, so we went back to the hotel, and the next thing I know, about 3 a.m, I hear commotion in like the outside of the hotel, and I go out, and it's him, shrieking, running naked, straight through the hallways.
Judge, mind that? I was wearing a towel. I had a towel on. It was a towel. I had a towel on.
What do you think it was?
Ask him. He went out. I didn't want to go out.
He was straight butt naked with this girl. Coming straight.
Why do you think that was?
And we just felt like he just got too drunk. He was just being very
drunk. That was crack.
What happened in Mexico stays in Mexico.
Literally,
They're right.
that's all I saw.
Go ahead.
So anyways, I just feel that we shouldn't have to constantly take care of him because we're not his parents. So we actually went into a lease together in February of 2014.
Let me allow him to give some background on himself. Sir?
All right, sir. Just to start off, the way Chris and Jessica is now is a good way to say is like 7-year-olds and a 30-year-old's body.
off. I'm just warning
Yeah, be careful.
No, he won't in here. Everybody will run out. Go ahead.
All right, Your Honor. But to be real with you, I feel like there's 7-year-olds stuck in a 30-year-old's body. You know, they don't know how to have fun anymore like we used to. They're real serious and they come down on me like if I party a lot. I mean, mind that I'm 24 years old. You know, I like to have a good time, go out with friends. But I would, when I was staying with them, get a lecture when I'd come home every time. You know, Jessica and Chris would be there. It'd only be like 12:30 or 1. And I would get the lecture like, hey, slow down, you know.
But let me remind you, we have
Here
to.
is the $2,100 question.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a good job?
Yes, sir.
How far did you go in school or trade school, or do you have a skill?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I work for a doctor's office. And
what type of training did you get?
For eye care.
You were trained?
No, sir. I kind of started the prelims and then I worked my way up to where I'm at.
But you don't have an education. If the doctor's office closed,
Yes, sir.
and there's a new technology where they no longer need that type of work that you do, you don't have a transferable skill. So my point is, yeah, you need to slow down on the partying until you get a transferable job skill. That's my point. That's my point. Young people that come in here and they tell these stories about partying and smoking and all this stuff, and they say, well, they're in college or they were in college. I'm like, did you drop out of college? No. Did you finish college? Yep. Do you have a job in your field? Yep. Do you make decent money? Yep. I said, well, you drink and smoke all you want to. as long as you take care of yourself. As long as you're an adult, you can take care of yourself. You have a transferable skill that if that company closes down, you can go somewhere else to take care of you and your family. Do what you want to do. What else you want me to know? You are a party guy. They're 30 years old, and that's about the time you slow down a little bit, unless you're Doyle. He's still partying. He's in his 60s. He just looks good. But what else you want me to know about other than you're a party animal and you're the ladies' man? All the ladies want you except for not one in here.
All right, Judge, but
Are you popular with the ladies?
I mean, I go out, have a good time. I mean, I have a group of friends, and we go the downtown scene.
So the answer is no.
Oh,
all right. Because you didn't mention one lady. You said I have friends, and we go downtown. All right. Let me hear what you want to tell me about the rent.
Okay, so in January of 2014, I guess he had broken up with his girlfriend. So we all agreed on going into a mobile home, renting a mobile home, and we paid $1,000 a month. But what we agreed to is he would pay $350 because all he was renting was a room and a restroom. So everything was good. Everything was really good up until July. And he paid July's rent a little bit late, but it wasn't a big deal because he was my husband's best friend. So I figured, we can trust him. He would never do us wrong like that. Well, August came and he started seeing his ex-girlfriend again. So he was doing the in and out, in and out, in and out. All his stuff was at the house still, but he would stay here and there, here and there, here and there. Well, then he didn't pay us. So August came, September came, October came. My husband texted him in September and he said, I'll give you the money on the 12th. So we said, okay, perfect. That can help us because we're having to come up with all this rent ourselves. If we would have known from the beginning we were gonna have to pay the whole $1,000 by ourselves, we probably would have gotten a cheaper rent. But we trusted him because him and my husband were best friends for like 3 years. So finally I told him in January, I said, I need the money or I'm gonna give you like 30 days to get all your stuff out because I can't deal with it and we're maintaining the rent on our own, so might as well just live on our own. And
so he sent me a text message basically saying, I'll get you that money, but after I pay off these tickets.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're suing for August of 14 through January of 15.
Yes, and our lease didn't end until April of 2015, but we just continued staying there because we didn't want to have a broken lease. So we did whatever we could to...
What do you say?
I mean, that was all correct that she did say, sir, but in between the time, around towards August, I was, talking to my ex again, back and forth. I didn't like the criticism I got for going out. I mean, I'm going to go out.
Before you even pay your rent?
No, sir. I mean, I was good on rent. We were good all the way through.
And not even having a decent place to stay. So what did you say? He rented only the toilet or the bathroom?
He said a restroom and...
Basically.
What did you say he rented?
I was never there.
We had
Just to sleep.
We had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. He had one bedroom and one bathroom. Yes.
A whole wing to himself.
In someone else's place?
Yes.
That's about the same. He rented the toilet. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. But, I mean, around towards, the August, we did have that verbal agreement because I was more at her house than theirs.
You had a verbal agreement saying what?
That was it for the rent. I didn't want to keep staying there if I was getting
criticized. Okay, so you never stayed there after August?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I moved out after August, and then from there I was.
You moved all your things?
No.
Yes,
No, he didn't.
I had some things there, but I mean,
Well, then you didn't move if you had some things there.
Yes, sir.
See what I'm saying about getting that education?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you leave your things somewhere, you haven't moved.
Yes, sir.
When you go back and forth every now and then, you haven't moved. If you own your own and you signed a lease, do you think you could tell the landlord that? Well, landlord, I'm moving out and I'm just going to leave some things there.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to come spend the night every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Think the landlord said, okay, fine, you don't have to pay any rent.
No, sir. I mean, I know my stuff would be gone, but, at the same time, he was my best friend, Like, we were real good friends and worked as a team, so I kind of had that. I know I should have put it on paper, but I had
So you're using him then?
No, I'm not using him, sir. No, sir. No.
You're taking advantage of that good friendship, which a lot of people do. You're my friend. Why should I have to pay you rent? You're my good friend. Why don't you split your salary with me? Why do I have to go to work? You're my good friend. Any other defense, sir, to paying August through January?
No, sir. I really had to pay the tickets. I don't want to be without transportation. I needed my license, so I needed it for work. And
from August through January?
Yes, sir. Well, that's when my stuff was.
You couldn't pay
there.
a ticket between August and January. Yes, how much was the ticket?
My ticket?
Yes.
Honestly, it was towards about like 6 or 7, but I was still helping.
6 or 700?
Yes, sir. But
what type of ticket was it?
Streaking.
A speeding ticket.
Streaking? Yeah. Speeding while streaking?
Oh. No, sir. No, sir.
Judgment for the plaintiffs. He has no real defense. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Hey, but I thought I still want to be friends, bro. Yes.
No matter what, you know I'll never have hard feelings. You're Chris's best friend, and I don't ever want to be in the middle of y'all's relationship because he don't have family, so you're the closest to family he has. So
No, I
I'm
love
just
you like a brother.
Yeah,
I know.
and that's why it was hard for me to make you leave in January. I didn't want to make you leave, but I had no choice.
Yeah.
We
I
couldn't
know
do it.
I mean, y'all are like my other family, you know. If I would have been a landlord, the way he told me, my stuff would have been gone.
Yeah.
I'm just glad y'all kept it. I mean, I'll pay that money, you know, slowly and forward, but I just want to fix us.
All right,
We're
sounds
gonna-
I just
good.
want to fix us. I know. Brother. I know, man.
No hard feelings, yeah.
Plaintiff Barrick Strode was friends with the defendant, and he claims the defendant is like his cleanup crew because he's always getting with the women whom Barrick leaves behind. Barrick rented an apartment with the defendant, but he's suing because he says the defendant stole his rent money and his property. Defendant Kevin Ring admits that Barrick gets women, but says he will get with anything that walks and is willing to hook up with him. Kevin admits that he kept Barrick's rent money, but says it was only because Barrick stole money out of his room. Kevin's countersuing for the remainder of his stolen money.
Start with you.
First of all, Your Honor, you know, like in every group of friends, you got your one friend that always wants to go out, wants to tag along, go to the club with you, always wants to get girls, but never really wants to put in the work. That was this guy. I call him more or less like a cleanup crew. Like whatever, you know, you pull the best ones out, whatever's left over, he'll come in and clean them up.
He get the trickle down.
He gets the trickle downs. You got it. So like I never really seen him with too many females in the apartment. Like the one occasion I did see him, I had walked into the living room. I seen the defendant on the couch. I seen a rather robust female sitting with him. I didn't say nothing. I just went on to my room. I let him mind his business. We all need our own space. We all need to do what we gotta do. Mm-hmm. As far as his character goes, I knew he had like a criminal past. I had heard that he had filled up his gas tank at the Speedway and then drove off and stole the gas, and then the police had been called, and when they got behind him, he evaded them, led him on a high-speed chase, and eventually ended up going behind the high school that was letting off a soccer team of kids, and ended up getting like 15 to 20 charges of child endangerment.
Defendant Kevin Ring is being sued by his former roommate, who claims Kevin stole his rent money and his sound system.
You want to give me some background before we get to the money and the property he's suing you for?
Yes, sir. First of all, he's the type of guy that messes with anything that walks he messes with.
So that's why he's so successful.
Yeah, yeah. He don't care what they look like. As long as they give it up, he'll take it. Like one time I lived by myself. We was over there playing PlayStation and stuff. He was like, hey man, can I use your laundry room? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. So a girl comes in, they don't even say nothing, go in the laundry room. 3 minutes later, they come out, sit there, and she leaves. I'm like, dang, you could have folded my laundry or something while you was in there. But they didn't.
Hold on, what do you think they did in the laundry room?
I don't know what they done. I mean, he asked me if they could.
Yeah,
how? Because he told me. He said, can I go have sex with this girl in the laundry room?
And did he tell you he was a 3-minute man before he went in?
I mean, my laundry room was like right off my...
I know, but you say it came out in 3 minutes.
Yes, it wasn't much more.
Okay.
I mean, I was sitting in the room. He had to come out.
Did this happen?
No, sir. And if it would have happened, it would have been well over 3 minutes.
Okay, all right.
He's lying.
Go ahead.
He's lying. But anyway, he don't do nothing but drink all day and mess with... I mean, yeah, he's got girls, but I mean, you can't count them for nothing.
Do you work?
Yes, sir. I work with special needs.
Oh, good.
About 2 times a month.
He says I don't work. He says I don't work because his job's more physically demanding than mine. Mm-hmm. I get 40 hours a week.
Okay.
Because he fills out his own schedule.
Let's get to the stolen property and money you're suing him about.
Okay, the defendant and I had met. We had known each other, and he was living with his brother previously, and I was trying to get out my living situation. So we felt like it'd be a good idea if we both went half on an apartment together. So we moved in to a 2-bedroom apartment. I would give him my half of the rent to give to the landlord. May comes around and I give him my $180 for the rent. Mm-hmm. This is May 4th. The rent's due May 5th. Mm-hmm. He tells me he's moving out in May. The defendant's had enough. He's moving out at the end of May, and I've paid May's rent. On the 12th, the landlord calls me and tells me that the rent hasn't been paid and it needs to be paid.
And
if
when
I
you
plan on
spoke with
staying.
him, what did he tell you?
I texted him immediately. He says, I'm putting the money order in right now. I have the text message where he said, I'm putting the money order in.
And the property you allege he stole?
The property, I was at the beach. Come home from the beach, I end up going into my car. I popped my trunk, and my system's been stolen. I actually started my car and drove off. I had no thump in my trunk, wasn't nothing beaten. That's the first thing I do. I turn my music up in my car.
So he stole your speakers?
He stole my speaker system.
All right, and what was that worth?
That was worth $380.
All right, you confront him about that?
Yes, sir. I asked him about it, and he said he had no recollection of it. I filed a police report.
Mm-hmm.
I have that police report.
What did they determine?
The police report determined that there was no broken entry, and I did have a spare key in my bedroom. And when I got back from the beach, it was obvious that somebody had been in my bedroom. And also, I have a message from the defendant's own brother that says he admitted that
You have that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sir, let me hear from you.
First of all, he's lying. The 180 I did keep because I came home one day and I ain't got a bank account. I left all my money in a shoebox in the bottom of my closet. I had $350 in there. I came home one morning to put more money in there, and I could tell my door had been ajar. So I went in my room and I started searching all my valuable. I opened the thing, and all my money was gone. And I said, well, I'll give you 180 when my 350 shows back up.
Defendant Kevin Ring is being sued by his former roommate, who claims Kevin stole his rent money and his sound system.
All right, what about the property?
I have nothing, nothing about
No knowledge of it?
No, at all.
Right.
Text messages.
But also, we do have another roommate that lived there, and he moved in February, and I was at work, and he tried to call me to ask me to move in. I didn't answer, so he had called him, and he let him
So
one
your
stay
only
there.
defense to paying the $180 that you owe is that he stole $350 from you.
Yes, and I told him, you give me
$170. And that's your
$170.
counterclaim. Was the other roommate living there when he allegedly stole your $350?
Yes.
So it could have been the other roommate that stole your $350.
No, because he had stuff coming up missing too. So, I mean, it wouldn't make sense for us to steal back from each other.
You could have stole from him.
No.
Your brother is saying he wants to look like a fool, so man, stand up and fight for what is right. I have been told that you stole from him. That's why your speakers got taken. Kevin will lie to look good. He thinks this will make him famous. To come on here and lie will make him famous. This is your brother saying.
Yeah.
Your brother is saying that you told him that you stole.
We don't even talk. He's lying.
All right, this is you also. I just bought the money order, but I can give it back to you. I can put it in the mail. You're telling this to you?
He's telling me that he sent the money order over.
But your defense today is the reason I didn't send in the money order or the money is because he stole yours.
Yeah, I was sending it.
But that had already occurred.
Me and the landlord couldn't meet up because he was in Pennsylvania.
You had already believed by May 14th that he had stolen your money.
The day he texted and said, hey, I need that 180, 4 days prior to that's when I found out about the break-in in my room.
Right. He had broken into your room and stolen your money 3 days before you promised to pay him. You don't promise to pay someone who has stolen from you. Your Honor, I'm not paying him because he stole from me. Well, that's not what you said on May 14th. On May 14th, you said it's in the mail.
Is the
635 is your judgment, sir. His brother says that he stole the property from you. He has contradicted himself today. You don't tell a person who you knew stole from you 3 days earlier, your check is in the mail. I believe I owe you. No, this is your defense today, and that defense fails, and it's your counterclaim, and that counterclaim fails. Your claim is dismissed, and yours is granted. Have a good day.
He's too cool for school, but he's not.
I'm too cool for school.
Yeah, he's not. He's an idiot.
Plaintiff Hillary Land rented an apartment with the defendant, who often got drunk after work and became violent. Hillary says she was forced to clean up after the defendant smashed bottles in a drunken rage, and she's suing for rent and property. Defendant Kimberly Pittaway admits that she was going through a hard time while living with Hillary, but insists the only property she destroyed was her own. Kimberly says she has video proving Hillary went into her bedroom without permission, so she's countersuing for harassment.
Start with you.
Your Honor, when my former roommate and I were living together, and she pretty much made my life a nightmare. She would come home from work and start drinking at least 4 times a week. When she was drinking, she would get belligerent and violent. She would pick up bottles and glasses and smash them down on the counter and shattering them in her hand. And I was always
doing an argument of some sort.
No, this is just like she's upset about something, and she would just do this out of anger while she's drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always there cleaning up after it, cleaning up the glass, bandaging her hands, and then while bandaging her hands, she would get even more upset and screaming and try to like hit the walls and stomp her feet or whatever. And I would have to go then to the neighbors and apologize for
is this true?
Yes, but I was also going through a very hard time. I had just got kicked out of my parents' house because they were moving out of state, and I had just ended a 1.5-year relationship with somebody, and so it was a major life change for me.
All right. Did you explain that to her?
She knew all of that. She was there through it. That's the reason why we got an apartment together, because of it. And
did she know that was you acting out against your...
Yes, but I never acted out against her. I acted out against myself. So that
and the apartment that you all shared.
Right, but the things that I broke were my property that I...
Yeah, but you don't want a room with a person who's breaking items in the household. That's unacceptable. I don't care whose property it is you're damaging. You're damaging it and messing up her quiet enjoyment of the property.
A lot of the time she came home to it. It wasn't like she was there all the time.
Okay, so she came home and she'd have to see glass all over and
I cleaned up a lot of it.
Evidence of your destruction. Go ahead.
She's very codependent. She couldn't live without somebody being there. She always was trying to offer people to move in with us. And she had a friend of hers and her baby come and move in with us. She stayed there for probably about 2 months.
You agreed to?
Let her finish.
Later on, she had her brother move in with us, who had gotten evicted from his apartment for being convicted of selling drugs out of his home.
Did you know this and did you approve of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew that.
He was having a hard time too.
Right. Everybody, yeah. She's drinking and destroying property. The brother is moving in after having been kicked out for selling drugs.
Yes.
Go ahead.
On top of that, when her brother did move in, he was allergic to my cat, and they forced me to get rid of my cat.
We did not force you. I asked you, and you agreed to it, just like you agreed to him moving in.
Ask you what?
I asked her if she could get rid of her cat because my brother was court-ordered to live with me because I'm the only family he had back in Nebraska, and he's allergic to cats, so I asked her if she could take her cat to her mom's house until he found another place to live, and she agreed to that and took her cat to her mom's.
So there's no one in the city for him to live with, as she says?
Not. He asked the court to move to my parents, and they told him no. So it relied on me because I was his only family left.
What if you weren't there? What do you think would have happened?
He probably would have been in jail. I don't know.
Okay. Instead, she had to get rid of her cat. You didn't sell any drugs. You didn't do anything wrong, did you?
No, I did not.
But yet you have to get rid of your loved one to accept someone in who's convicted of dealing drugs.
Correct.
Gotcha.
But if it was a problem, she should have never agreed to it.
It's not like I had much choice.
Go ahead. Anything else before I get her side?
On top of it...
Can't do too much more, wrong.
Yes. It got to the point where it got so bad that in February, she accused me of tampering with her bedroom door, and to the point where she had to kick it in and break it in half. She broke it in half.
To get in her bedroom?
No, I had to get out of my bedroom because someone had tampered with the lock that I had bought for my door the same night that I bought it, after we got into a huge argument and I moved all my expensive stuff into the bedroom. And I bought a lock for the door, and I'm not saying her, but somebody messed with the door because I had to break the door to get out of it.
I bought the same doorknob made from the same company and tried to install it in my...
Give me your side. What do you want me to know about living with her?
Well, she's just as crazy, very codependent herself. Like, we would get in arguments because I was never there when she was there, and I told her that I do not want to be her friend anymore and that we'll just be roommates if that's how it's going to be. And if you want to use the cable or the internet or anything like that, you can use your own stuff in the living room, because she was using all my stuff. Well, she came home and disconnected all of my internet and was getting in my face and threatening me, saying that she wasn't going to pay.
About what month was that occurring?
February.
Okay.
And can I? First of all, I was never upset that she wasn't home. I was upset that she wanted me to stay home and wait around for her.
Why would I want you to do that when I had my own life? I was in a relationship with somebody and going to see them.
You wanted to talk to me about the credit cards, and you expected me to sit around and wait there for you to make time for me.
How did you end up leaving in February, ma'am?
Because of the whole argument and the door being broken, I left for 3 days because I didn't feel comfortable in my own home.
Where'd your brother go then?
He stayed at a friend's house. I'm not for sure where he went.
So he did have somewhere else to stay after all. Gotcha.
Well, it's different.
You're suing her for $2,166 for what months?
I am suing $2,000 for the rent for February through June. It's $400 each month. And then the cost to replace the door was $166.
Okay. And your harassment is for what, ma'am?
Because for one, she destroyed our kitchen, which I have pictures of that she put.
I dirtied the kitchen.
Let me see your pictures. And did you have to incur an expense for that?
No, I did not. I didn't even clean it.
Did you fix the door you kicked down?
No, but she also left me a note.
This is only dirty. This is dirty dishes, ma'am. What else, ma'am?
She left me a note saying that I needed to be careful what I do next because I don't have a door anymore, which is right here. And then I also got video.
Did you write that, ma'am?
I did.
And then I also have video of her going in and out of my room while I was not there.
Let's see it. Doing what?
Going through my things.
You have that video with you today?
I do, and I'd like to show that to you.
I went in there and got 3 items.
Well, we're going to take a look.
Whether you went in, you had no reason to go into my room and take anything out. You can see her going in with a flashlight, looking around. The next clip will be her carrying some things of whatever she has.
There you go. She's looking for the cat. You're right.
You can see she's carrying some stuff out of my room, going through my things, and then on top of it, she comes back in a completely different outfit, so she had to have gone in there more than once. That's her playing with my Xbox.
That's another outfit. You're right.
And there's no reason for her to be going in and out of my room.
Ma'am?
Yes.
What was that about?
I went in there a couple times to see if anybody was even in there. I went in there to
But is it your business if I'm home or not?
I went in there to get my spare key, a video game.
What about the second time?
The second time, I was trying to see if the internet was still working. I had called the internet company and was trying to cancel it, and the only thing that had internet access
Had you all become hostile toward each other by this time?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And what else do you want to tell me about the harassment?
In the middle of February, I ended up getting into some trouble and got myself put into jail for a couple days. And while I was in jail, I have a sworn statement from my boss saying that she called my job not once but twice, saying that I needed to be fired because I was arrested. And
Ma'am, did you do that?
I did not do that. I called her work. I asked if she was. I was trying to locate her because I had heard that she had gotten arrested. I never said anything bad against her. I never talked badly. They asked if they could ask who was calling, and I said no. So I never told them who I was when I did call. So whatever statement.
Why wouldn't you?
Because I didn't think it was necessary. Why do they need to know?
When you call anyone, you identify yourself, particularly if you're asking for one of their employees. The only reason you don't identify yourself is because you don't want them to know who you are because you've done something wrong. I believe the boss who says that you called there and said that she needed to be fired and was arrested. He says, I asked her name, she said no, and then hung up on me. She again called about a week or so later saying that Kim was a bad person and that she messed with the wrong people, and again hung up. All right, I'm going to conclude that you all weren't to be roommates anymore as of February. One of the reasons was your alcohol-induced destructive actions, and your Inspector Gadget moves were another reason to the harassment. I am going to conclude that she harassed you, and that was pretty significant to call your job. Did you lose your job?
I did not. I actually got promoted to management.
Good to know. All right, so I'm going to grant your judgment for the unpaid rent and property damage, and I'm going to grant your judgment for harassment, all right? You all do the math. Why don't you do it for him, Dora?
2166.
Minus.
Zero.
Zero?
Yeah.
For both? Have a good day. There go your judgment.
We are not friends.
Nope, I never want to see the again. I'm done.
Yeah, there ain't nothing else to say to this sleeping whore.